would like to turn some time over to you, of course, and just tell us, you live a great life today, and maybe we can start off with the life you live today, and then we can backtrack of how you've created that awesome life and what you've done to impact so many people's lives. I mean, you've got thousands and thousands of people that you've touched, lives you've touched and continue to touch today. And it's just awesome. So anyway, I'd like to turn some time over to you and tell us what life is like and who you are.
Life is we're pretty blessed. We've had, through building our Primerica business, I've been able to take care of my family, take care of a lot of other things. But most important is the lifestyle that I've created for my family. And I've got two children, my daughter, Janae, who's 42 or 3, I'm not quite sure, I can't remember now. And my son, Dak, who's 44 or 40, almost 45. Next month, he'll be 45. And when I got started in our business in Primerica, they were 4 and 5 years old, I think, at that time. So that was a long time ago. I've been at this for about 40 years now. And as a result of that, we built a big business. Businesses. We have 16,000 agents, I think, somewhere in that area. I've been very blessed to make a significant, almost $100 million in Primerica so far, and that just continues on. I actually don't work as hard as I used to work. I used to work like a crazy person, but I've been enjoying life. I think one of the things that was really important is spending time with my family and offering them opportunity. As both my kids, we put them through college. One went to Stanford, one went to Wharton Business School, and so they've, on their own right, become very successful people, which is really great. It's been awesome that they have been able to, take advantage of our situation. I have 4 grandkids, 2 boys, 2 girls, and we spend an awful lot of time with them. And we just came back from a trip. We were in Singapore and Bali for almost 18 days. And it was incredible. So we travel a lot. We've been to over 70 countries, and we're still doing that. I hadn't been to Bali. Had been to Singapore before, but I hadn't been to Bali, and we were able to do that. Rented a villa right on the ocean and had an amazing time there with our daughter and her 2 girls. And but life has been amazing. I mean, building a big business and being able to travel and being able to experience things that most people, unfortunately, are not able to experience. And it's all because I made a decision to build a business, but not just to build a business, to become great at that business. I think a lot of times people forget that money follows greatness. And the one thing I was always focused on doing was being great at what I do. And as a result of that, we've had a lot of success. And that's kind of what I teach in my business is, making the effort to become great at what you do so that you can live the life that you dream of. So we have 3 homes, one in Las Vegas. That's our state principal place. We have a home in Newport Beach, California. And we also have a home in Cabo, Mexico, which is an amazing place. Spent a lot of time there now, and so we kind of follow the weather. Where the weather's the best, that's you'll find us there. And life has been just incredible as a result of us making a decision to become great at what we do and to build a big business. So.
Very good.
I don't know if that's kind of what you had in mind.
Yeah, but no, absolutely. Just to have that time and that freedom and obviously the income coming in. So Hector, did you come from money or how did you start out?
No, as a matter of fact, I'm the 5th of 7 children. Both my parents are Mexican, and my dad was from Mexico City, and he had a 3rd grade education, and he came to the United States when he was 18 and 19, somewhere in that range. Met my mom. My mom's family's from Guadalajara, Mexico. So they ended up falling in love, getting married, and having 7 kids. And I'm the 5th of the 7. And I grew up in a 1,000 square foot home with 9 people in it. And, not not any real money. Well, my dad worked two jobs his entire life, worked in a factory, plus he cut hair, at our home. He had a barber shop set up in our home. And my dad worked two jobs his entire life. And we had the necessities, but we were definitely, on the lower spectrum economically. And but great examples. Both my parents were just really fantastic people and hardworking people and good people. And they instilled all those kind of principles of being good people to all seven of us. And I think as a result of watching how they operated their life with a minimal kind of situation that they were in, it's been pretty incredible what we've been able to accomplish, and just shows you what the potential is out there for those of you who are really serious about becoming successful. There's nothing that can hold you back but yourself. I think one of the things I talk about a lot is growing you. That you're not going to get where you want to go unless you grow yourself. And I think that's one of the things I've done over the last, almost 50 years now. And what I taught my kids and what I teach in my business as well.
Very good.
Yeah, it's awesome. Hector, I think that, as you talk about growing up with 9 of you in a 1,000-square-foot home, it's actually funny. Yesterday I posted on social media that there's this post that's going around like crazy talking about the average income in the United States, $70,000 a year, but the average home price is $400,000. And in 1960, the average income was like $11,000 and the average home price was $15,000, which seems like a lot closer gap.
Closer, yeah.
But if you look at the average work week of men in the 1960s was 50 hours a week versus the average work week of men today in last year was 34 hours.
Wow.
And so,
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So if you take the same amount of time, it actually makes buying a home easier today if men worked the same amount of hours. So I guess a question I have is I've watched your work ethic and obviously know what that has built and the lifestyle that is built and the people that it's influenced, like Brandon and I and tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people probably at this point. Watching your father, I'm sure your mom worked hard as well. I'm guessing that she was a homemaker. Is that correct?
Yes, she was a homemaker. She didn't work outside the home until
with 9 kids. She was always working, right?
Yeah.
So do you feel like you got that work ethic and maybe that drive from your parents? And then how did your father instill those things into you? Because I think there's a lot of people that listen to this podcast and they probably are starting like your parents started, right? And trying to, themselves take their family to the next generation and progress. So what are kind of some of those principles that your father instilled into you? Was it just watching him work hard, or was he talking to you about those things?
It was more watching. He didn't really talk about it much, but he literally worked two jobs the whole time I was at home, where he worked a full-time job in a factory where they made, like bathtubs and sinks and toilets and all that. He did that until he retired, but he also cut hair. I mentioned that he would cut hair every day. Like he basically worked 7 days a week, until I left home and even after that. But so I learned, and my mom, which is a homemaker, but taking care of 9 people, cooking for 9 people, cleaning, all the things that she had to do, and making sure we were good citizens and all that. So she worked really, really hard as well. So they were a team, and my dad brought home the money to feed us and take care of us and house us, and my mom took care of the home. And so it's a big job when you have 9 people that you have to be watching over. And but I think with just really watching the way that they both operated, they're both, I never heard them complaining. I always had good way about them. I think I can't, my father had some of the best people skills of anybody I've ever seen in my life. I mean, it was a pleasure to watch him work. I mean, when he would cut hair at our home, might have, 5 or 10 men there sitting in the garage, talking and stuff. And while he was cutting hair, and I got to see how he interacted with those people, and his people skills were just they're some of the best I've ever seen in my life, honestly. And I've witnessed a lot. And I was fortunate to learn that from him. And because, your people skills are going to have a gigantic impact on how you do overall in business and life and everything. So
where did he learn those people skills from? Do you know?
I don't know, because he was basically an orphan, from the time he was 10 years old. He was in Mexico City and he was an orphan. And I don't know how he did that. Maybe it was innate, God-given. I don't know, because he didn't have parents after he was 10. His father left the family, unfortunately, my grandfather, and my grandmother passed away when he was around 10 years old, and then he was on his own from that point forward. And so where he learned that, I have no idea, but he did.